Welcome back to Autism Live and to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. Joining us right now via Skype is Jill Woodworth. I love how she describes herself as being a human being, a writer, a podcaster, and a chronicler of being human. She also says that she is the case manager of 5 souls. Jill, this cracks me up more than I can tell you. It's so awesome. It's like the perfect description of what used to be. My mother used to describe herself as chief cook and bottle washer, right? But that didn't really describe what she did. Being a case manager of 5 souls says it all. And we should mention that 3 of the souls that you are case managing have Tuberous Sclerosis Complex. So please help us to know, what is that?
Okay. Tuberous Sclerosis Complex is a genetic condition that causes benign tumors to grow in different organs of the body. So it affects everybody differently, and people can be affected extremely from like mild to severe, where your life at your group home, really debilitating. It's unpredictable, and it involves a component of intense behavior on top of dealing with life-threatening seizures and, kind of living in a lot of emergency situations. So it's, in a lot of cases, it's very manageable. It's, there's no cure, and I think that's the mission of a lot of parents and, of course, the TSC community would love to find a cure. But I think people don't really know how it's going to play out when their kids are younger. So that's kind of why I started the podcast, was having had several children with it and kind of learning through trial and error what worked and what didn't work, and still learning, because there's a lot of unknowns. So someone can be affected, like for instance, one of my children had a tumor in their brain that required brain surgery. And they may have issues in their kidneys. That's another area that's very, it's common to have complications with kidney tumors, and there's just facial manifestations. And then another big component is the tuberous sclerosis associated neuropsychiatric disorder, which basically encompasses the entire mental health umbrella. So I think the last statistic I heard was there's 90% of the people that have TSC, no matter how they're impacted, from mild to severe, have some component of what we call TAND. And that actually can be as challenging as the medical part. And, there's a lot of, I think it's the most, as far as the connection with autism, the leading genetic cause of autism. So one of my children is on the autism spectrum, along with having, the other TSC stuff. One has more of an intellectual disability, and one's pretty cognitively typical. So it's been kind of the full spectrum.
Yeah, you have your hands full. I totally am picturing that T-shirt saying, "If you think my hands are full, you should see my heart." Because I get the sense that that's kind of your story, right? Because this is probably a lot to deal with, but I love that you are so positive and proactive, that not only are you navigating the ship for your 5 souls, but you made a decision to start a podcast about it. Now, explain to me, you have a partner in crime, I'm told. Is that this is Lisa that we're referring to, Lisa Larson.
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about what you guys do on your podcast.
Okay, well, it started with just me interviewing my kids. This was a few years back, and thinking that if I put a message out there and interviewed them and talked about kind of let their voices come out, it might be helpful to other people that were maybe struggling. And so I interviewed my kids, and then I kind of lost my mojo and put it down for a while. And then I went to a TSC World Conference, which they have every few years. This one was in Dallas, and I met, I was just immersed in the TSC community. It's a very tight-knit community. And it was this conference where everybody gets together, including including all the doctors, anybody who's giving a speech or sharing at the conference or a seminar, everybody's staying in the same place. So it's a kind of a unique setting. But anyway, so I met with a lot of these moms, and I still felt like there was something missing for me personally. I remember being really overwhelmed and like going up to my hotel room and feeling like I've come all this way, and I feel like I should be more connected, but I don't know how to get from A to Z, and feeling like if I knew people's stories and talked to them a little more, maybe it would be helpful for not only for me, but for other people, because, you're dealing with intense situations for such a long period of time that there's really not that many people that you feel like you can relate to or be close to. So, I don't know. I felt like it would be a fun, kind of I don't know whether I would say fun, but a therapeutic journey. And so, I looked into podcasting, and it looked kind of, I had done it before, but I wanted to do the interview format, and just figured out that I could pick up my phone and call people and take the audio file and then produce it into a podcast. So I started doing that, and I found a few people that were willing to talk to me. One gentleman, the first person I did, after I was interviewing my kids, was this young man with TSC, who I knew his mother, and she was like, "Sure, Justin, we'll do it." And he came on, and he talked about his, getting to a really low point, wanting to have a rope around his neck, and just really powerful stuff. And so it kind of went from there, and people were interested in talking to me, and it also kind of highlighted whatever person I was talking to, whatever particular part of their TSC journey they were at. Those particular issues were highlighted. So if I was talking to someone who had a younger child and was in the throes of, seizures that are very common early on, a very serious type of seizure called infantile spasms that many affected with TSC have, that would also give some education to the general public about this particular issue and the TSC community. So people, it was just like a tool that I felt like I was doing something. It had been hard to work outside the home just because of the juggling of all kinds of stuff. I don't need to explain that, but so I just kind of started doing it, and then I have a few friends that have stuck with me over the years, and one of my friends offered to help me. I was like, "Well, do you want to edit some podcasts?" And she said she would, and I remember the first podcast she edited, she took out every and but that was in the audio. So, we've had this like really great relationship kind of going back and forth with these as a team, where I do the front end, she does the back end, and it's kind of grown from there. So that's how we got started.
I'm jealous that you can take out all the ums. I don't have the ability to do that, but I'm...
We don't want to. We want to keep it natural. That's kind of my mojo, is like, I want it to, dressing up like this is a lot for me. Nothing bad. I enjoy doing it, but yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I totally hear you. Well, I think it's wonderful what you're doing. So the name of the podcast is Tsctalks. I hear you guys refer to yourselves as Thelma and Louise. Is that true?
No, you said that, yes. I understood that.
And where can people find the podcast?
They can find it if you have a Google, any kind of Alexa, or you can say tell Alexa play the podcast, Tsctalks. We are at tsctalks.com. We're on Facebook. We are on Twitter, Instagram. I think if you look up TSC, Facebook, it's at Tsctalks. And let's see, LinkedIn, we're on there, and YouTube we're starting to do a little more there, and we just launched this crowdfunding study. So we started that. I can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I would. That was going to be my next question. Is let's talk a little bit about the crowdfunder that you guys have going on and what it is you're raising money for.
Okay. Well, I think one of the things that I've kind of discovered over the years was just the amount. Well, like case management is pretty weighty, as I've described. But one thing is a lot of medication management in TSC, and hearing about it. Also, we have in the TSC. Well, it's not in the TSC community, but the medication Epidiolex is a new FDA approved CBD isolate that is a lot of families or people affected are having some success with that. And I thought that's wonderful. It's very hard to get that because you have to actually have a certain level of severity to be able to be eligible. So, but knowing that formulation was out there, I had been talking with. I work in another job where I do some social media work for Nikki's Gardens of Hope, which she'll be on next week, but.
Yes, she will.
That's on my podcast I ended up working for, and I don't want to get too sidetracked here, but she's starting a home to build permanent residences for adults with IDD and autism, and she's got a really interesting project and vision. But so I guess I had heard about CBD, being really good for epilepsy, and it's kind of all over the place. And also, medical cannabis, people have had some success with that for autism. So a friend that I work with, Chris Nichols at Nikki's Gardens, had some time, and he offered to help Lisa and I kind of develop something that we could do a crowdfunder where we'd be giving some kind of a product or and it's going to be an ebook, something out there that might be helpful for families that were considering using cannabinoid medicine or CBD personally or just with their loved ones affected, and not from I'm not a doctor, clearly. Really just gathering a lot of information, but we hope to. Well, we're going to test different brands of CBD and give on their certificate of authenticity, just some basic testing parameters. We're going to put it into a nice write-up. We're going to add in a lot of collaborative resources and these podcast interviews that we're doing with people across the industry to give a lot of information about, what might be important to consider, concerns with interactions of medications, the latest research, and kind of put it all in a package, like a digital ebook, and that will be, you can get that for a donation to our crowdfunder. And also, I think making the connections in the CBD community has been really interesting because there's just, you kind of, in podcasting, you're not tied to anything. I mean, I'm tied to the TSC community, but there's a lot of connections. It seems like there's connections in, the special needs community in a lot of different areas. So kind of sidestepping into this new area and connecting with cannabis nurses and doctors that are, kind of groundbreaking in this area, and finding out that people are having some success using, cannabis and TSC and for kids with autism. And so hoping that also to kind of move the thought forward that we can't really wait for these pharmaceutical formulations to be ready. If there's something now that we can find a way to put together some kind of protocol to use, if it's just CBD or it's a mix of cannabinoid medicine in the states where, it's legal to infuse some THC. I believe that there's a combination that happens to be particularly helpful for people with autism, whether it's low THC, high CBD. So, there's some legal issues but basically the first book would be information on CBD, but also a lot of supplementary information on cannabinoid medicine, and a real resource. So, and hoping that people would say, polypharmacy is a big issue personally when you have children that are on meds for, 20 plus years, 5, 6 different meds, and long term not knowing the impact of those meds, and, looking at not being really able to look away at the successes people are having with cannabinoid medicine. And with reduced side effects and the potential of hitting more than one. You know, for instance, if you're knocking down seizures and dealing and possibly improving behavior or just lessening anxiety, and you can lower the doses of other pharmaceuticals, that's a big win in my book, a small thing. So, you know, we're seeing where this goes. It's kind of given us a lot of new connections, and we're not stepping away from the TSC community. We are going to continue to do podcasts in that area, and we're always looking for new guests and sponsorships. There's some leaders in the TSC community that are experts on behavior, the TAND component that I mentioned that will be coming on, and continuing to do these cannabis podcasts. And I just found it fascinating to know there's this whole community out there with the nurses and people that are really have had profound, life-changing, you know, and I don't want to make it sound like it's a panacea for all, but it's helped a lot of people get healthier and mental, physical health. And to me, yeah, that's really important.
Wonderful. And so where do people find the crowdfunding site? Where can they go if they want to get more information?
They could go right to our website, Tsctalks.com. We have right on the front page, we have a link to go to the crowdfunding site, and we also have, it's on Indiegogo, and I will be, we are posting it constantly, the crowdfunding link. So it's, I don't have the exact letters here. I should have that, but it's
no, that's okay.
Cannabis testing, safety testing, and podcasts.
Wonderful.
That's the broad term.
Okay.
And yeah.
And they can find you on Facebook at Tsctalks as well. And unfortunately, we're out of time, but this has been so interesting, and thank you so much for enlightening us as to all this information. We'll encourage people to listen to your podcast. Go to tsctalks.com and listen to the podcast. I want to hear Thelma and Louise. So, and good luck, and we'll look forward to hearing from you in the future.
All right. Thank you so much, Shannon. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So we're going to take a break, and then we've got toys to review. So don't miss a beat. Come back. Thank you. Right back after these. Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.